Okay, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our 11 a.m. Central Time weekly meditation at Dawn Mountain. It's good to see people here in person, online, and I know there's people on YouTube now and in the future who will be joining us. My name is Mark. I am a member of Dawn Mountain since 2009, and I'm part of the crew that we take turns leading this hour together. This is our hour where we come together open to everybody, and we take on a practice that is meant for people who it's their first time sitting down or their 1,000th time sitting down in meditation. Something that's both accessible and deep, pithy, and profound that can be useful in the here, the now, and in the future too. So as a reminder, we will be at the end. We'll be saying we'll be dedicating the energy, the merit of this hour to anybody or any being that needs prayers. So if there's anybody you'd like to include, you can write in the chat, and we'll say that at the end. So today we will be we'll be settling down into a practice that is mainly resting into our breath, but we'll also be sounding a sound, chanting it. We'll be going back and forth between the two. And I invite you now to relax. There's probably things from the week or today even that are maybe hounding on you or still holding you back or weighing on you in some way. So this is our time to take a break from that. We're practicing what it's like to relax. So a skill that we can take into our future too. So we want to practice trying to relax now, not to pretend like something doesn't exist, but to see how much we can let go. It's an innate skill that we have, something that actually doesn't, we just have to invite it to happen. So we'll get started here. So we'll kind of settle our way in. So I'll guide us into the actual steps. But before we do, if you need to stretch, kind of wiggle, pop anything that needs to be popped or rearranged, please do. We want to be in a comfortable and sustainable seat because we're going to be trying to rest into our bodies. You want to find something that's fairly symmetric, so we don't want to be hunched over one way or the other. We want to be centered and find a stable seat on the chair or on the floor. And if you want to rest your hands in some comfortable way, either on your lap or on your legs, you can rest your shoulders down into that too. We want to be able to sustain ourselves, so we want to have a fairly natural curve in our spine, something that's not artificially straight, but something that naturally kind of curves back and forth, maybe like a stack of coins or almost like a plumb line hanging down. You can tuck your chin in a little bit if you want to give a little bit of a bump into the top of your spine and give a little pep into your posture. So now that we're into our bodies a little bit more, just take us some time to feel into the room around you. We're probably not really aware of the sights or the sounds or even the contact that we have with the room around us. And now we can again be in touch with our bodies. Just be open to anything that grabs your attention with your body. Just be curious for a bit. Before we go any further into actually sitting with our breath, just leave a space now to be in touch with any motivation or hope that you have for, or reason you have for being here today. Whatever specific or broad aspiration or intention you have, just be aware of it. Leave it space. And now we'll settle into our main practice. We'll be following and watching, paying attention to our breath. If you're still very unsettled, you can keep the whole broad picture over your whole body, or maybe something specific. But as you find yourself relaxing over the next few minutes or more settled, see if you can track the more subtle parts of your breath a little lower, what we call the do or the dantian, the energetic center a few finger widths below the belly button, even a few finger widths in. It's very subtle. And we're bringing our freshness, our curiosity, our openness. And when we find ourselves distracted, because we will, we're bringing our openness and curiosity and compassion to that too. That's just as important to the practice. So when we find ourselves distracted by a thought or another sensation, just acknowledging there's a process, not judging the actual content of that, just noticing your thinking or your listening to something else, and just letting that go and going back to your breath. So, and we'll find ourselves deepening in some way, and we'll find out what happens. So we'll go from there. And now we'll switch to chanting Home, Home together at our own pace. We'll let that roll for a few minutes. That'll be a new object for us to settle into, for us to be aware of what it's like to sound it, to hear it, to feel it. Om, So you can watch that energy fade. And we'll transition now back to our breath, watching the sensations come in at the top, out at the top, at the bottom, and repeat. And again, when we find ourselves distracted, that's part of the practice, is being aware of that, not getting into it, letting it go, not forcing it out, and going back to our breath. So now we'll transition back to chanting Hum, Hum. If anyone on the Zoom would like to unmute and participate, that you're welcome to do so. That's okay if not. We'll do that for a few minutes. And again, we'll settle into our breath, resting If we can go deeper and deeper into our breath, we will. And when we find ourselves distracted, that's part of the practice too. Noticing that, labeling the distraction, letting it go, going back to the breath. And again, we'll transition to chanting home, home. And feel free to join if you want to, for those on Zoom. Before we end, just take count of how you've been impacted or affected by these last 40-45 minutes. Just see where you are mentally, emotionally, physically. Just be curious. See what's changed or hasn't. with that, you can stretch, come back to your usual selves. So we will close with our with our with our offering a candle prayer with our and I'll say the names here. That's how we'll close today. And maybe we'll also say, actually before that we'll say our aspiration prayers, the 4 boundless prayers, and then we'll say the prayer for the names. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. And now we'll offer a candle and with our blessing prayer. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. Thank you, Nancy, for that candle. Okay, and we think today of all beings everywhere, and especially those here. Joe Edelberg, Jay and Ellie, Dick Truman, Bardo, Ginny Truman, Mary Wright, Bardo, Nanine Ewing, Bardo, Joyce Gervasi, Gary Myers, Millie and Bill Schneider, Eric Tittle, Bardo, Bay or Baya, Enderl or Enderly, Bardo, Harry Hutton, Mr. T, Bardo, Nancy Cutler, Bardo, Vanessa, Charmine, Josh, Sylvia, Rolando, Nathaniel, Ed, Leah, Emma, Keantro, Mira, Bardo, also Francis, Tara, Kay, Drew, Eric for Move, and the Cool family. And we can expand out. You can join or say it on your own. We'll have one resounding through ourselves, amongst each other that we share together and out to the world. Well, that brings us to the end. I know this is our Memorial Day weekend for us in the United States, and I'm not sure if there's an equivalent for European or other friends beyond. I know this is a time for remembrance, for appreciation, and gratitude for what people have offered before, and a time to honor, I think, the values that we might share as a society and as a culture. And that's something that I think there's ways that reverberates with traditional Buddhism too, in many ways. And so I hope that everyone has an enjoyable or meaningful weekend, and Memorial Day if that's what you're honoring tomorrow. Yeah, so thank you. I'll end there. I'm assuming there's announcements that I do not know.
Thank you so much, Mark. I think the thing most coming up is be starting our first and third Tuesdays, Dharma explorations, connecting emotionally with oneself and others is coming Tuesday. Anything, Emily, that you want to bring up?
Yeah, so the reading group starts on Thursday. They're reading Awakening Together by Larry Yang. There's still a few slots available for that. Highly recommend it. We have a Buddhist art event coming. It's 2 Wednesdays, the 16th and the 23rd. That is a donation-based event. So that's kind of like pay what you want. We're really excited to include as many people as we can in that. And we're also starting 2 new kind of regular programs. There's going to be a second and fourth Sunday Yeshe Sogil practice for those who have already received the teaching. And we are starting our sadhana, our Saturday sadhana practices, which is going to be the 3rd Saturday of the month. This coming month is Jigme Lingpa Guru Yoga, and there will be a transmission during that practice. So.
What a wonderful number of things you remembered to remind us of. Thank you so much, Emily.
And Emily, can I ask, is that since there's 2 separate art events, are those standalone or are those successive classes?
They're successive classes, so you just register the one time. If I remember correctly, I believe one's going to be a little more lecture and the other one's going to be a little more discussion. And these are not recorded because they involve participation. So please register and please come when we have it. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Lovely
you,
to
Mark.
see you.
Bye,
Good morning,
everybody.
Nancy.
Thanks, Mark.
Great.
Thank you, Mark. Lovely to see everybody.
Yeah.
Have a happy
Thank
holiday.
you. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.